and I'm going to enjoy it. Merely cause we're bored, merely because we're bored. Cause all you do is hope, you're all fucking hopeless. And it's the Lord of the Flies all over again. It's the Lord of the Flies all over again.
Recently, I've been asked why do I make so many videos against, people hating on gays, racism, basically what people hate in general, considering I'm none of these groups that I'm defending. Well, the fact is, I am an English-speaking white male in a fairly well-off country, and I'm engaged. So what do I have to bitch about? Well, I know some people are not going to agree with me. I know there's a lot of people who won't agree with what I'm going to say, but there's some who will. The fact is, being English-speaking white male, you're pretty much fucked. I am a part of a group who is in reality, we're the most discriminated against of all people. I am discriminated against, but not outwardly. It's not a big deal out in public about people discriminate against white straight males. Let me break it down here for you. I'm white, so there's problems with there be natives blaming the white people for stealing their land. That happened so many years ago. There are black people who apparently we did enslave them. But who cares? That was hundreds of years ago. I know it was horrible. I feel bad. I feel for your ancestors. But if you're gonna make a big deal about it and blame me personally for it, you can go fuck yourself. Also, on term of African Americans, African Canadians, the Negro community. Why is it that if we use a racist term against them, or use a racist term in general, like we use the N-word, well, fuck, I'm not gonna say it, but if we say nigger, if we use that word, why is it that we get bitched at? They can call us cracker, or whitey, or honky, and it's perfectly fine. That is hypocrisy. That is race. That is discrimination. That is racism. Calling us a cracker or honky or whitey. It's the same fucking thing. Now, straight. Well, yes, there's gay pride. It's a good thing. There's gay pride parades, but still, there's no straight pride. Yes. That being said, there's not too much to whine about in most things. The simple fact is that a gay person, a lot of times, in a proper setting, will get a job over a white person, or not white person, a straight person, with the equal amount of experience and talent in the same field, just because if that person does not get the job, they might go on like, oh, didn't employ me because I was gay, yada yada yada. People make a big deal about it. I know not all people like this, but some people are. Same people, black people and natives. If they'll get a job before a white person, given the same talent, due to the fear of the employer being called racist. Feminists. A lot of times jobs will go to a woman before a man out of fear of, being discriminated for being a sexist for some reason or another. Again, it's just the hypocrisy of all these groups going on and on and on about it. There's a lot of hypocrisy in everything. Again, I am pro-gays. I am pro-equal rights. I am free choice. I am all against it. I have no bad feelings at any people. Just that when these people bitch to me, that I don't know what it's like to be discriminated against. They can go fuck themselves.
I'm Debbie Grant. What else do you want to know? I'm an augmentative alternative communication specialist, and I teach at University of California, Santa Barbara in the credential program.
Very cool.
I teach assistive technology for teachers. I'm the mother of 5, and I'm a very ultra-conservative Mormon.
Do you think that straight white men are becoming or are oppressed in today's society?
I had never thought of it, and as an oppressed straight white woman, I would say no.
And why is that?
Well, I see straight white men definitely have an advantage over straight white women, I think. Like in my field, it's like all the special ed women get passed over and the men get promoted to the coordinator positions.
So there's a significant difference in pay and all that?
Well, I don't think there's a big difference in pay, but they're more likely to be advanced, I think. Mm-hmm. There's a very small number of men in special ed, but a very high percentage of them are in administrative positions versus the number of women who are.
Another topic that's come up a lot in my research is that feminism oppresses men.
Well, you know, I think you're, in some ways, I think in the workplace, men have to be very careful about decisions they make and things they say and do for fear of someone yelling hostile environment, hostile environment.
But do you think that's because that kind of old boys club is kind of getting called out, you know, or is it something else? Like men aren't allowed to be as inappropriate as it used to be acceptable.
Yeah, men are not allowed to be as inappropriate as women are.
Okay. So.
Yeah, there is a discrepancy there.
Okay. Would you consider yourself a feminist?
Gosh, you wouldn't consider me a feminist.
Not necessarily. There's way different definitions of. Okay, how about this? What does feminism mean to you?
I think feminism to me means equal opportunity to an education, equal opportunity for job advancement, and equal opportunity for career choices. But I also think that that if if a woman decides to be a mother, I think she should stay at home and raise her kids, and they shouldn't be raised by nannies or babysitters or the neighbor or preschool teachers.
And I think that's a generational difference, because in the 1970s movement, there was the mommy track and the career track. They pitted them against each other, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas now it's kind of like, if you want to stay home and raise your kids, that's cool, that's your choice. Or if you want to go to work.
Yeah, which is very interesting, because when I was a stay-at-home mom, it was, oh, you're a stay-at-home mom? You don't have a profession? You know, it's like you were looked down upon. Mm-hmm. But now, my daughter Michelle has her kids in a school down in Santa Barbara, and she is looked down upon because, oh, you work? You know, and she's really ostracized because she's a working mother, and all these other mothers are all stay-at-home mothers. So you're right, the pendulum has swung back.
Yeah.
At least in that corner.
You have 4 boys.
Yes.
Do you think any of them have been discriminated against because they are straight white males?
I don't know. I don't think any of my kids have met with oppression because of who or what they were. No. I feel that if I have met with oppression anywhere, it's because I'm a Mormon.
Yeah.
And people have their own, whether it be accurate or not, vision of what Mormons are.
My name's Charlie, of course. I am 20 years old. Well, like, what else do you want to know? I mean, like,
how would you identify yourself?
well, I identify as a straight male, but it still gets a little complicated because of my trans status. So I am an FTM.
But for the most part, in your day-to-day life, do you feel that you are passing?
Absolutely. No one has any idea about me being trans. I mean, I could live completely stealth if I wanted to.
Yeah. And do you think that has had advantages for you?
I think that in some ways it does, but it's interesting because, like, when you look a little bit more fluid with your gender or look a little bit more ambiguous, you kind of have the rights to be able to be funnier, I guess, you know. Like, I think that's the biggest difference in the fact that, like, if I can't go up to, I mean, I hang out with a bunch of lesbians, like, I love lesbians, and that's just my main group of friends, and if I see someone walking on the street who, you know, is obviously queer in some way, shape, or form, it's not really easy for me to just go up to him and, like, make up conversation. Yeah. Because I don't have that obvious, like, it's almost like a stamp.
I think that straight white men are the new group of marginalized or oppressed people in this country?
In some ways, yes. I mean, I think that we have as, like, being a straight white man, you have almost less permission in a lot of ways. I mean, especially with sense of humor, you know, you can't really joke around, like, black jokes or anything like that. I mean, especially with, like, school as well. I mean, if you go to college, there's no real grants for straight white men. I mean, there's always something. I mean, unless you have some sort of, like, mental illness or, like, some sort of disorder, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah. Do you think that this is, in my research, a lot of this has been coming up about reverse discrimination, like reverse racism, reverse sexism, heterophobia.
Yes.
Do you think that's happening on a large scale towards straight white men?
I believe so. Yeah. I mean, it's still everywhere. I mean, you're gonna find haters no matter where you go, and I think that it's been around here for a little while now. I mean, since, I don't even know, it's back in school. Like, remember, like, back in middle school, elementary school, high school, there's always been almost, like, I don't know, Caucasian phobia, you know? It's, especially, I mean, with men, it's kind of an easy target, you know? It's kind of hard to describe.
What does it mean to be a feminist or an anti-feminist to you?
For me, it's kind of hard to go full-fledged into, like, be really pro-feminist, you know, because I think that, at least through my gender experience, you know, there is no real better sex. I mean, going through hormone therapy, you kind of have both brains at some point. You know, you see how women think because you thought that way, but you also see how men think because you think that way. And there's really, I don't think that there is a supreme sex. There is no higher one. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, I'm all for being comfortable and being strong within your sex and gender, but I don't think it's to the extent that one is superior to the other.
Would you consider yourself a feminist or anti-feminist, or kind of just somewhere in between?
Somewhere in between. I mean, I wouldn't be anti at all. I mean, because, like, for me, I believe that everyone, if that's what they believe in, that's what they should do. You know, and that if that makes you happy, then rock it out.